If we were to take somebody who was embarking on conscious parenting, how would they encourage their child for success, to be prosperous, to be happy?
So, the main premise of conscious parenting is connection before correction. Of course, we have to correct and create boundaries and safe conditions for our children to thrive. But we first need to make sure that we as parents are not doing that out of blind reactivity, out of blind ego. So the first premise is connect before you correct. So connection means what? It means that I, as a parent, need to first connect to my own inner wholeness so that I can then connect to my child as a whole person, not a puppet, not a creation of a mini me, but a whole person. And when I can connect to who my child is in their essence, then I can help contour the conditions to help that essence to flourish versus transplanting my kid from the essence and putting them into my box. So it's about really seeing your child for their strengths and their limitations. And every human has limitations. We as parents want to create these superhumans who have no limitations. And in doing that, we actually make our children feel rotten. We need to have practical estimates of who we are and who our children are. And the more we allow and embrace our limitations to just exist, it's okay. We don't have to be A++ in every single thing. Neither do our children. We actually teach our children to be more secure in who it is they are. So for a practical example, if our child comes home and says, Mom, I really, really struggle in math, instead of saying, oh, no, you don't, you can be amazing at math, we're thinking, well, encouraging them. But we're not. Instead, we are disavowing their limitation. Maybe we need to say something like, I hear you, child, I see that you're really struggling. It's okay to struggle. You don't have to be excellent at every single thing. Maybe math is not your thing. Let's get you the help. Let's try to improve, but you don't have to kill yourself. You don't have to be a superstar in everything. Be good at what you're good at and honor that and hone that and tone that, and let's flourish that. And the rest, just accept that, okay, you're allowed to be average in some things, but we'll get you the help so you can keep improving. What a different message versus saying, no, you can be great at math and you are good at math and push yourself. And oh my goodness, then the kid grows up thinking they have to be the astronaut, the physicist, the theatrical kid, the artist, the writer. No, none of us are that.
Many of us may have been affected as children by our parents. We have a duty to make sure that we are the cycle breaker. We are the person who breaks that cycle. This is why these videos and Dr. Shefali's work is so important. How do we inspire children? How do we not affect our children? This video is one of those things that's going to teach you that. Please continue to listen to the very end. Today's video was made possible at Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can get the Memento Mori poster, a poster to remind you that you are going to die, an interactive poster. Use code STOIC at checkout for 10% off, where all the profits go back into creating this content. Let's dive back into the amazing Dr. Shefali.
Instead of pushing them to become this idealized version of ourselves, we parents have literally a movie in our head for who our children should be. And we literally are dictating the script page by page. And then when the child is a bad actor and not cooperating, we want to fire them. No, we need to examine the movies that we have in our mind, our fantasies, and really crush those, burn those, because they are causing so much rupture between ourselves and our children. Delta between our expectations and the reality creates the dysfunction. The more the delta between those two, between our fantasies, our movie of what our life should be like with our children and who our children really are, that's where the dysfunction is. That's where the separation exists. And that movie doesn't come from our children. It comes from us, the parent, because of these fantasies we have. And I often tell my clients that your fantasies for your child's greatness comes from your own inner emptiness. Because you don't feel quote unquote great enough, you project this lack onto your children. Because children become great, great in who they are, not great according to your metrics, but great in who they are. And we think we're creating them instead of allowing them to simply flourish. So when our mindset comes from this creation mindset, like we're playing the hand of God, it's really dangerous because it's full of what I call the parental ego. And as long as we parent from ego, we will miss connecting to the essence of the child before us. So this is where parents need to wake up. And this is what my book, The Parenting Map, teaches parents how to break out of our ego and truly connect with our children.
How would you explain to a parent the importance of their role as a parent? Like the way and how important it is to parent our children and the impact that's going to have on our children and the future generations.
So in the traditional parenting model, the role of the parent was the supreme ruler, the mighty king or queen. The despot, the tyrant, gets to control the child, tell the child, these are the traditions, this is what I expect from you, do it or be doomed. In the conscious parenting model, the role is very different. The role is first of the parent to evolve themselves so that they show up for their children in the most conscious way possible. So I give the challenge to the parent that, hey, you aren't even worthy just now to raise your children until you raise yourself. And I teach you how in my book, The Parenting Map. The second thing is that our role is not to dictate them or to control them. Our role is to be their guides and their ushers and their awakeners, but also to allow them to awaken us. So it is a partnership. It is a very mutually reciprocal relationship where we both engage together to raise the child to their best potential. You are not, to use your children to fill your inner void. You are not here to expect and demand and command them and fantasize them into whoever you want them to be. You are here to truly shepherd them into their greatest authenticity. So our role as a parent is to keep handing the baton of empowerment and inner knowing back to the child. So although we know best many times, so can we inculcate in our children their capacity to know best for themselves. So we can keep giving the baton to our children to know themselves better, to connect to themselves better. And that is the greatest gift we can give our children.
Arguably, and I don't really think arguably, the most important job in the world is raising our children, is raising the next generation, especially inspiring the next generation, inspiring our children. So many of us think that it is just an obligation that we so carelessly go forward with. You know, I must do this because I am a parent. Do it with passion. If you were affected by the way that you were parented, and some of you may not realize it yet, so please dive into Dr. Shefali's book or some of the other Dr. Shefali interviews that we've done. But you may have been affected just unknowingly by certain teachings that you just didn't realize were happening, especially the biggest one of all. I am the parent, so listen to what I have to say. Well, that is one of the biggest mistakes that's made in parenting and something that's extremely common. You know, that's what we hear all the time. And I know some people will be watching this and going, that's the respect you give your parent. That's because you were taught that. I heard this the other day. Children didn't ask to be brought into the world. You brought them into the world. And some people think, well, they owe me because I brought them into the world. Like, no, they didn't ask for that. Nobody asked to exist. In fact, you inflicted that on them. So, you know, the least you can do is guide them through life, is to teach them the lessons that you have learned, is to teach them how to live a better life, a more prosperous life, teach them the good things, remove the bad things that happened to you as a child. That's just my opinion. Guys, thank you for watching. If you want to support us at Mulliganbrothers.com, you can now get the Memento Mori poster, an interactive poster to remind you that you're going to die. Use code STOIC at checkout for 10% off, where you can also get the Inspire Change hoodies, t-shirts, and the journal, where all the profits go back into creating this content. But thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed and productive day. And if you want to learn more about parenting, please go check out Dr. Shefali on Instagram or her new book. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.